We're back, J-Shark.
And this is going to be pretty insane. I cannot believe that MorroW had the guts to do what he did in game number 2, Lyrlian. That was actually crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy risk, to say the least, to say the absolute least, to go for a 6-pool in this much of an important game. Of course, there's 3 more qualifiers coming up after this one, so there's going to be a total of 8 people qualifying for the event that are not yet qualified. I mean, we already have a great line up of Swedish players qualified. Amongst others, we've got Thorzane in the list, Vipro, and a lot of the other top European Zerg players are also in that list already because they qualified through LAN events. But players such as MorroW, Mers, NaNiwa, Bishu, they didn't qualify through the LAN events yet, and they have to qualify through these events.
That's exactly right, and Bishu is, of course, already in to the finals here, so he has guaranteed himself a spot in the Sweden national finals. In the meantime, the second spot that's going to be going there from today's particular tournament is going to be decided by this one very game. This is, of course, the semi-finals, guys, of the Sweden World Championship Series. The scores are tied up 1-1. Spawning over here in the top right-hand corner of the map is the Purple Protoss representing Team Quantic. 1 win away from a spot in the Nationals, staying up really late to play in this tournament in Korea. Will he be able to do it? It is NaNiwa. His opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map as the blue Zerg player, 6-pooling his way to tie the series up 1-1 in that last game. Incredibly gutsy move. What will he be able to do in game number 3? It is MorroW.
Yeah, of course, formerly on Mouse Esports, but now a free agent since a few days. I've seen a lot of people speculate to what team he might go to. I definitely would like to throw one name out there that I don't think he's going to go to. He's not going to go to Team Liquid or EG, I don't think, because he's got so many. There are so many Zerg players already on EG and Team Liquid that it would be an illogical thing for them to pick him up. But then again, Mouse Esports doesn't have that many Zergs. I mean, Mouse could still renegotiate terms with MorroW, and maybe he's going to end up staying on that team. Who knows?
It's entirely possible. I mean, there are no hard feelings between Mouse and MorroW,
Nope.
of course. It's just his contract came to an end, and they're actually potentially renegotiating as well. So for all we know, he could just re-sign for Mouse Sports, and not too much that is newsworthy there. But for now, guys, he is, of course, a free agent. As we do see, NaNiwa going to be completing the Forge Fast Expand here, getting the Photon Cannon up as well. Nice and safe. Meanwhile, MorroW, this time, going to be going for that pool and that hatchery as well. Early on in the game, we are going to be going back into what would be considered a fairly normal game number 3.
Indeed, we've seen NaNiwa scout early this time around. It was so hilarious to see him scout after Pylon this time around. I mean, last game he scouted, he didn't scout at all. Sometimes we see NaNiwa scout after Forge, sometimes not at all, sometimes after Nexus, but this time he scouted immediately after Pylon, as is the standard in the matchup. NaNiwa definitely got scared a little bit by that 6-pool, did not want to have his qualifying spot get taken from him at the last moment because he neglected to scout in the last game of this best of 3. So playing it safe this time is Quantic NaNiwa. He's taking his gases, 3 workers in both gases, no shenanigans like Sase and Bishu like to do with 2 workers or 1 worker or 1.5 worker in those gases. He's just putting 3 workers in there, as most Protoss players do.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Lyrlian, and NaNiwa not wanting to throw this away as well because he has stayed up to incredible o'clock over in Korea to play in this tournament, and he has to play in Code S in less than, I think it's something like 30 hours he needs to play in Code S as well. So it's currently unbelievable o'clock in the morning in Korea, and he has Code S matches to prepare for as well. This guy is seriously dedicated to StarCraft, and he does not want to let this opportunity slip. He's going to be playing slow and careful in game number 3, and then he's going to be saying tomorrow, I think I'm better than you. I will go into a normal game. What are you going to do about it?
Indeed, he's going for the robotics. Is that robotics in vision of the Overlord? Yes, it is. Oh, that's good for MorroW. A little bit sloppy here by NaNiwa. Maybe he wants MorroW to see this robotics, but he could have put it a little bit further back, and the Overlord would not have been able to see it. So MorroW is going to see this additional gas go down. He's going to see the Robo go down. And by the way, we've got a Zealot harassing this base over here, but I don't think he'll do much. The Queen pops out. I believe the Queen loses one-on-one to a Zealot, so the Queen is going to have to micro a little bit. Zerglings now popping out. Oh, that Queen actually getting really low there. Not quite going down, though. The Zerglings pop out just in time. I was pointing out to JoRoSaR, those gases going down that robotics being started, this could be
Yep.
another Sentry Immortal all-in.
It could be. Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right, Lyrlian. It definitely could be. 4 gases this early on. I think you might be onto something there. And like we were saying beforehand, this kind of style is really coming back into fashion these days. We're seeing more and more Protosses use more 2-base timing attacks, and Immortal Sentry is definitely at the forefront of that as it currently stands. We'll wait and see if MorroW can actually do anything to counter this, but NaNiwa might be coming out to try... to try for this Immortal Sentry all, and I think it's looking more and more likely.
Yeah, it's all about making enough roaches and making enough links versus the Immortal Sentry all-in. I've seen some Zergs on the ladder when I go for the Immortal all-in rush for Mutalisks off of 3 bases, but if you actually execute this rush properly and get an Observer and Scout, there's no way the Mutas are going to be out in time to defend against it. But I've lost a few games to it because, you know, I'm horrible at this game and just do all-ins all the time, blindly, without scouting, and just pray that I win.
Well, we have no Roach Warren going down for MorroW, instead going to be going for an Infestation Pit, so this will be a very interesting response. He definitely, like you mentioned, saw that robotics facility earlier on, and the Overlord that was chased away from the position over here near the natural, which you see is now morphing into an Overseer, it also got chased away by 3 sentries. So MorroW has had a lot of indication this might be a Sentry Immortal all-in, but he is opting instead to respond with the Infestation Pit. That's going to be very interesting. Let's see how well he does.
That's uber cool. He needs to start pathogen cleanse immediately, though, to make sure he has those infestors out in time.
There we go.
Because that push is materializing right now. A lot of zealots being warped in here, surprisingly enough, for NaNiwa. I think he has scouted everything. He did have an observer going in there. He has seen the Infestation Pit. He's seen everything. So that's why he's warping in those zealots. He knows there's going to be a lot of Zerglings out on the field. And of course, zealots deal with the Zerglings a lot better than Stalkers do. And oh my god, here come a lot of Zerglings. NaNiwa might be caught out of position here. Does he have enough zealots? Oh, it's gonna be close. He's gonna lose some sentries. Maybe the force foods are good by NaNiwa, and he hardly loses anything there.
Yeah, those 3 zealots just had such good surface area.
He lost 1 zealot for about 26 Zerglings there.
He had such good surface area on his zealots for that entire engagement. Look at this, the sentry's actually tucked away between 3 force fields there, and even though their shields are gone, I don't think he lost a single sentry in that second engagement. Did he lose 1?
Yes.
What incredible micro and control there from NaNiwa. MorroW is forcing NaNiwa to use a lot of his energy, which is good because he's stalling for time until the infestors come out. There are 5 of them on the way at the moment, and Pathogen Glance is done. This will be really cool if it holds off Sentry Immortal, man. But Sentry Immortal is, of course, very, very strong indeed. Those Immortals in the army able to absolutely rip through anything Zerg has to offer. Let's wait and see, because NaNiwa looks like he's about poised to get up the ramp with that Warp Prism. The Queen's target down, the Warp Prism. A Warp-in does get cancelled, and we have got a lot of force fields going down. Excellent surface area on those Zealots. Oh wow, the Infestor's coming into play now, and Fungal on the Sentries. All of the Sentries, only 2 of them remaining at the moment, and a Fungal getting a lot of them as well. It looks like MorroW's going to clean this up.
It looks like it indeed, and MorroW even has a pack of Zerglings sitting AFK in the top right position, or the middle right position of the map. MorroW doesn't even need it. He is cleaning NaNiwa up, and NaNiwa is in a world of hurt right now. He's warping in 5 sentries back at home. And if MorroW would have utilized those 17 lings he has on the right side, now he realizes he had them, he would have been able to stop that push even easier. What a brilliant response here by MorroW with the Infestors, just hitting the field in time. Those 3 Spine Crawlers all working for their money as well. They all got a couple of kills. 1 Spine has gone down, 2 Spine Crawlers remain alive, and MorroW's now going for the Spire play. He's taking additional gases, and he could once again transition into that Muta play. We've seen him do that before. When he was ahead, when he knows the Protoss is on 2 base, he transitions into Muta play, and we all know how that ended up in game 1.
I think he probably is looking for a slightly different outcome in game number 2, as you do see an Overseer just going to be scouting the top of NaNiwa's base again, just to double check what buildings are there. Does not see the Twilight Council, so probably needs to duck in for another look. And an incredible thing about MorroW's play that I really want to highlight for the stream as well, by the way, Lyrlian. Those 2 pokeouts with the Zerglings where we thought, oh, he's going straight into NaNiwa's army, and NaNiwa executing those force fields brilliantly to save so many of those sentries. If either one of those hadn't lasted as long as it did, MorroW would not have had infestors out. He was throwing those units at NaNiwa, but still microing them so they did as much damage as possible just to stall for time. And if for any reason NaNiwa was just able to brush that aside in either of those engagements, he would have hit the third comfortably before those infestors got on the field. So excellent play coming out of there from MorroW, knowing his timings perfectly, stalling NaNiwa for just enough time so that he can hold off that Sentry Immortal push. Cool play from our Zerg player.
Yeah, definitely a cool way to stop the Immortal Sentry all in with the infestors and the spine crawlers and the link support just coming out in time. There is a little bit of a counterattack in position, or well, not really a counterattack since MorroW's not attacking. We tend to, us casters tend to call things counterattacks way too much. There's going to be a little bit of a harassment coming in here by these zealots. There's 7 zealots lined up to go into the third base, but the entire army of MorroW is nearby. He has his mutas now on the field. He once again switched into mutas. It didn't work out for him at all in the first game. He ended up losing the game because his mutas just didn't do enough damage. The mutas focused down a few sentries. They killed a probe here and there, but it just wasn't enough. The mutas now scouting these 7 zealots in the bottom as well, and they're gonna die without doing anything. That's a nexus and a half, or that pretty much.
That's a good point, actually. That's a nexus and a half worth of minerals. That is huge. And I like that, of course, MorroW sent those mutas in first, remembering that there was a probe there as well. Good stuff there from MorroW. And NaNiwa does not have a forward pylon to his name at the moment. It looks like the third base, the Overlord was taken out, but still waiting for the creep to rescind. NaNiwa desperately needs that third base right now, getting his first Colossus out on the field. But MorroW is now maxed out, and he is getting all of the upgrades at the same time, going for centrifugal hooks for potential banelings, now getting a 1-1 in addition to the +1 flyer attacks, which is about to complete. So let's watch and see if these mutas can do any more damage in this game than they did in game 1. They are going towards a natural, the rest of MorroW's army going towards a third.
NaNiwa's relatively ready though. He has a lot of blink stalkers and he has cannons here, and here we go. The double pronged attack's going to be happening. The Lynx scouting the third base going down. The mutas are going to be able to take out these stalkers. I feel they're going to be able to engage head on because this is a lot of mutas, over 20 mutas here, and they take out stalker after stalker. The stalkers are blinking back. More stalkers going to be joining up here, and I think now is the time for MorroW to move into that third base and deny the third base at the same time. If he fungles those Colossi, they're going to fall really rapidly. The mutas are still in the main base, killing probes left and right. MorroW is going in for the kill. He's going for the third base. He's going for the Colossus. The force fields go down. The Nexus is taking a lot of fire. The Zerglings are streaming past. Are those Zerglings actually going to take out Colossi here? No, they are not. The mutas are getting cleaned up in the main base as well. And oh my god, look at the supplies. What just happened?
MorroW, the third base fight just wasn't very productive for him. Both Colossi are still alive. He sent in Zerglings to try and surround Colossi when the Colossi were surrounded by Zealots.
Look at the kill counts on the Colossus, by the way. Whoa.
I know. It was... Oh, wait. 18 and 20. Exactly. That was just... MorroW was trying to get a word in edgeways, if you like, with the Colossi there, but there just wasn't any surface area for those Lings to hold because the Zealots were actually hugging the Colossi. So every time MorroW sent in the Zerglings to try and hit the Colossi, those Zealots just got tremendous surface area and just started smacking away at those Lings. And of course, we all know that Zealots destroy Lings like nobody's business. So the particular engagement at the third was definitely won by NaNiwa, but MorroW, of course, still able to do a decent amount of damage in the main base. Let us not forget that he has killed 14 workers this game, and that the current worker supply is 77 from MorroW to 51 from NaNiwa, and that MorroW is maxed out to a 150 Nani. So definitely, even though that third base location, maybe not the best engagement for MorroW, he's still looking fairly strong.
Yeah, he's still looking really good, but this is exactly what happened in game 1. In game 1, MorroW got stuck on Lair Tech for too long as well. He didn't have the Broodlords when he needed them, he didn't have them in time, and now we're in pretty much the exact same situation where MorroW is trying to make his Lair Tech work, where he wants to end the game before the third base kicks in, but is it gonna work? He has so many Banelings, he could pretty much crash them into the third, and he might be able to kill it, but there are a lot of sentries and a lot of Colossi there to defend it. Here goes Mr. MorroW again. He has to snipe those Colossi before they kill always Zerglings and Banelings, and here we go. The Corruptors are going in. Fungal goes down on the Colossi, and these units are going to be falling. The Banelings have not been able to connect with the Nexus yet. A lot of the Corruptors are falling. The last Colossus goes down, though. Is MorroW... Is he actually going to end up losing this? I cannot believe it. He's losing so much of his supply. He has no tech units left. Loses almost every infestor. Loses most of his Corruptors. NaNiwa showing why he's in Codas round of 16. JoRoSaR?
Yep, that was absolutely incredible play there from NaNiwa, and really, I don't really know what MorroW has to do to try and get a word in edgeways, man. He has played so well in these games, incredible risk taken in game number 2, and he's just trying to whittle NaNiwa down in a position where NaNiwa refuses to lie down and just sit back. He's just growing his death bolt non-stop, getting into fantastic positions against MorroW, and MorroW is just out of luck at the moment. He just needs to try and find a way to break down NaNiwa. He's still in a great position, as we said, but NaNiwa's engagements have been so good.
Yeah, NaNiwa's engagements have been fantastic so far, guys. If you're having lag on the stream, make sure you tune down the quality a little bit. I'm not dropping any frames, so if there's lag, it is on your side. And I'm streaming at a ridiculously high 1080p bitrate, so tuning it down a little bit. I know us males don't want to tune down the stream quality because we have pride, but you might have to do so a little bit for this stream. Here goes MorroW again.
A lot of banelings. Oh, nice force fields from NaNiwa, keeping all of the banelings out here. There is no way MorroW can get in, and NaNiwa takes a 20 supply lead. Excellent force fields, basically nothing lost for our Protoss player, and MorroW once again has to run home. He must be wondering what it will take for him to try and break this Protoss player, and the answer is not an awful lot can actually break him. This is why he's one of the best players in the world, guys. And NaNiwa hanging on very, very resiliently in this particular game, now up to a 20 supply lead against MorroW.
I cannot understand why MorroW follows, you know, holding that push off so well. Why would you follow that up with Mass, Ling, Baneling, Muta? I do not understand it. I really don't see it, because NaNiwa has been going for Blink Stalkers and upgrades and Colossi every single game. He knew exactly what MorroW was going to do and countered it perfectly. He got cannons, he got stalkers in position, and he took out those mutas as if they were nothing. Those mutas definitely didn't do enough. MorroW is definitely behind as a result right now. He's trying to once again go for the Broodlords and the Ultralisks, but and
that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up in the exact same situation as we did in game 1, J-Shark. I think we're going to see NaNiwa hit the timing right before the Broodlords or the Ultralisks are on the field.
I have a feeling you could be right there. NaNiwa now moving out across the center of the map. The Ultralisk Cavern is complete. The Greater Spire is about to complete, but it's still 15 seconds, and NaNiwa is on MorroW's half of the map. And it's worth pointing out, by the way, that NaNiwa is at 3-1 upgrades to the 1-1 of MorroW. And once again, excellent force fields. Where are the Banelings going? But has NaNiwa run out of force fields on this particular occasion? We have got a couple of Infestors putting down those fungal growth, but no more force fields. Ensure that NaNiwa just wins that engagement outright, still with the Colossus out on the field. NaNiwa now has the option to move straight into the natural if he so pleases. The army from MorroW looking more and more difficult to work with by the second.
I have to keep in mind that NaNiwa is only on 1 base income though, so this is pretty much the army he has to work with the rest of this game. MorroW still has a decent bank, especially a lot of gas in the bank. His first Ultralisk have started to hit the field, and Ultralisk are amazing against this army composition, especially if the Fungals go down on the Stalkers, and one Fungal does go down, the Ultralisk is getting major surface area. There are 2 Colossi here, but they're not focusing on the Zerglings and Banelings right now. A lot of Stalkers falling, but so are the Ultralisk. This Ultralisk is not even going to be able to hit anything. Blink forward, the Infestors are now taking fire. More Ultralisk and Zerglings are on the way. 110 supply only left for MorroW. Quantix NaNiwa is looking to go towards the Grand Finals.
Oh, wow. 149 supply for NaNiwa, 97 for MorroW, dipping below 100 supply for the first time I can remember in this game. And NaNiwa is going to be able to clean up everything here at the 3rd base location. He's just going to move straight into the natural and the main base, going to get rid of a lot of that tech. MorroW does still have a mining base in the bottom right, but that's not going to matter against this huge death ball here. 69 supply to 147, and NaNiwa, after, I have to say, commending MorroW for such great play in his games, although maybe his decision-making I didn't understand very much with those muted switches and stuff like that, but his play has been fantastic. NaNiwa has just been so good in these engagements, Lyrlian. GG, 2-1.
GG indeed. Great game, great play by NaNiwa. NaNiwa going for the pretty much the all-in playing in in the last game, you know, going for the Immortal Sentry all-in that he was going for. He didn't get a lot of upgrades. He didn't really have a follow-up ready, but he was just hanging tight. He was expanding to a 3rd base super ridiculously late, and MorroW wanted to finish it before Hive Tech. He wanted to finish it before the 3rd base came into play, and he wasn't able to. That was some stellar defense by NaNiwa. Really, really great.
That was excellent stuff there, which means, by the way, guys, that Bishu and NaNiwa are the two qualifiers into the Sweden national finals from today's tournament. Congratulations to them, but it is not over. We are going to be having a best-of-3 show match, I believe, between the two winners of those seeds, NaNiwa versus Bishu, coming up in just a moment. So don't go anywhere, guys. JoRoSaR and Lyrlian will be bringing you that best-of-3 after this commercial break. Thanks for tuning in.